today's show. Tonight's episode features EKOH. He's an awesome rapper that's come out from Las Vegas, and he's got a new style of music that he calls Heart Hop. So check out our interview.
We're all trying to find that diamond in the rough, until we find out a diamond's not enough. It never was and never will be, but the truth of the matter is this feeling will probably kill me. A funeral for friends, a means without an end, a heart that's still broken.
Hi, EKOH.
Hi.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Stoked to be here.
Thank you.
I like the getup. I like this whole thing. It's
Thank
very
you.
comfortable.
Good.
I like it.
I'm glad you're comfortable.
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah, you were saying that this sort of reminded you of, what was it, the Sadie's dance or something like that?
No, I was saying that we were matching, like we were going to Sadie's together.
Oh, there we
Kind
go.
of,
We
yeah.
are kind of matching.
Yeah.
We sort of go with the booth.
We go with the booth and with the whole scenery around us, so it's always nice to match. That's what I've been told.
We didn't even mean to. It just kind of worked out that way.
It's serendipitous, kind
It's
of.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I checked out your stuff, and I think you're very talented, and
Thank you.
I like your message a lot too.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've been trying really hard, especially this last year, to really polish up the sound and put out something just that has a good message behind it, and something that our fans are gonna like and appreciate, and really try and make a big push this year with some new stuff. So yeah.
That's awesome. So I know you have your first music video out, right?
I have a few music videos out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about it. Sorry.
Music videos in general. I mean, this is like such a nice production. I'm not used to like such a big, nice production. We kind of do everything more indie style, I guess. Whereas
This is totally indie.
Well, if this is indie, we do like super indie style. You know what I mean? We're like it's just one guy. It's just me and a guy with a camera, and
So you make your own music videos.
I have a director that's done all my videos.
Cool.
And we've done all of them together. And yeah, we have like four or five out right now. And
That's fantastic. What was the first one that you guys did?
the first one we put out was for a song called Meet Me at the Bottom. We put out two videos pretty close to each other. We did an anti-bully video.
Nice.
That we found a bunch. We went to a high school in town in Las Vegas. And we found a high school that got behind really our message and what we wanted to do with our video, and the anti-bully campaign that we put together, and we got all the students to be in it, and they made the whole storyboard, and they acted in the video, and the proceeds went back to the anti-bully organization at the school, and TJ Lavin came out and he was in it, and it was just a really cool experience also. It was probably the most overwhelming thing I've ever done in my life because I was in way over my head, but it was
because it was your first video.
Well, it was the first time that I put everything together. There was no one helping because I don't know anyone that knows what they're doing when it comes to stuff like that. And so I took on, like, I guess, sort of a producer role in this whole thing and putting everything together. And I was in way over my head. And somehow we ended up making it work. And
That's
somehow the
amazing.
school let us do it. I don't know how. I mean, I wasn't even allowed in high schools back when I went to high school. And they let me back in now to go film a video and, give back. So it was kind of cool.
Well, obviously you're doing something that's got, a really good purpose behind it, so.
Exactly. I mean, the tough part is realizing how hard it is to try and do something for your community when there's so many hoops to jump through and stuff like that.
That sucks. It shouldn't be that way.
I mean, it shouldn't, but I guess it's politics.
Like, what sort of stuff did you run into?
School district.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They didn't want you to shoot there, or?
No, the school district really wasn't into really anything we were doing. So if you're watching now, school district, shame on you.
Oh, man.
No, but I mean, thank God we found a principal at Green Valley High School that was like, we don't care, we really like what you're doing, so we're going to do it anyways.
Wow.
And it was really cool.
I guess it's just a lot of bureaucracy and, like, whatever.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of red tape and there's a lot of things you can't do and can do. I really don't know how it works. I don't know.
Wow.
But we ended up making it work, so it was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so when did that video come out?
It was last year that came out. Around this time last year.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to tell you, I have kids that were in middle school, and they experienced some problems with that stuff there.
Yeah.
So, I do think that's a really big thing to take on, because it's definitely a problem, and I think it's a lot more than it used to be. Like I really do think it's increased.
I mean, the thing, I guess the awareness has increased, but I don't know if that really necessarily stops the problem as a whole.
Yeah.
And you'll never really know because there's the people that talk about it, there's people who don't talk about it that it's still happening to, and
yeah.
I think that's one of those things that's really tough to gauge because there's also some kids are more sensitive than others. So maybe one person might take something as bullying when it's really not, or whatever it is. But I mean, I dealt with it when I was in school, and I was never like the cool kid or anything like that. I was, more like of a loner type kind of person, and so I dealt with it on my own end. And so going back and trying to, even when I was back in the high school, like doing the video and like lunch was out and all these kids were walking by, I was just like, oh my God, this
Totally
is terrible. I don't want to be here at all. Like I felt like I reverted all the way back to when I was like 15, 16. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm never going to have a girlfriend. I hate my life. And I'm never going to have any friends. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. What I've noticed is usually the people who are like the really, really popular kids in school end up kind of not really being like that the same later in life, and the ones who are kind of the loners and the weirdos are like actually the ones that end up doing something totally amazing later.
Well, there's some people that peak in high school, I think.
Yeah.
And I didn't peak in high school.
Well, good, because you have a whole lot more life after that.
Yeah,
so.
and that's what like I get, like especially after we put that video out, people like message me or email me or something like that and talk about their own experience, and it's like, just get through high school and you'll be okay. Trust me, because everything changes. This is not the rest of your life. This is just right now, and you'll be surprised how things change.
Yeah.
And how people change, and that's you get this whole idea of this is what life is, and this is how it's gonna be for the rest of my life, and this is terrible. And this girl broke up with me, and what I mean, like all that kind of stuff. And it's not what life is once you get out of there. There's so much more to it. And you're right. A lot of the people, be nice to the nerd. The nerd's gonna be your boss, type stuff like that. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. But just because you're cool in high school doesn't promise you a successful future.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely a really important topic. So kudos to you for like taking that on. And
thanks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Thanks.
And why don't you tell us some more about your recent songs that have come out?
I just released a new song. It's called Paint.
Okay.
It's we just released this for free download right now. Before we put it on iTunes, we wanted to give it away to fans for free. And
where can they find that?
It's at ekohiphop.bandcamp.com.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a free download right now. We wanted to give something back to the people who've been supporting us for so long and giving back, and we haven't really put out anything in about a year because we've been working on stuff. And so the first song we had, we wanted to give away for free and get people like back reintroduced to what we're doing, and reintroduced to this whole heart hop thing, but then introduced to the new stuff that we're doing, and all the new stuff we have.
Yeah, tell us more about the heart hop.
Heart hop is it's a name that was branded not by me. I don't think I could have come up with that if I wanted to, but it was a couple of fans that we had back in the day. And when I first started doing this, like I tried, there's like a whole hip hop scene that you get involved with when you first start doing this stuff, and doing a lot of shows and stuff like that, and having people say that you're not hip hop, you're not because if you're not in someone's face or a gangster or a thug or talking about selling drugs or girls and stuff like that, then there's this whole misconception, at least not so much these days because it's starting to change, but at least when I first started doing it, to where it's like, well, you're not hip hop, man, like what are like emo or whatever you want to call it. And there was a couple fans that are really related with a couple songs. They're like, man, you're not hip hop anyways, it's heart hop, it's you're writing from your heart, you're writing what you feel, and that connects with people. And so it was like, we'll run with that.
You know what? I think that's so freaking awesome that you're doing that, because it is true. I mean, just it's so spread throughout all of the hip hop community. It's like a lot of things that aren't really a good influence on people, and they don't set a good example for like how to live your life.
Yeah.
So like the people who come out and like start talking about stuff like this and using music, the power of music for good, like that's freaking amazing.
I mean, that's the way I've kind of always looked at music. Was not even necessarily, I'm not trying to influence someone to do right or do a certain thing, but kind of, this is what I've been through.
Yeah.
This is how it made me feel. Go make your own decision. And if you've been through this or you're going through it right now, then you can relate.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs out there, and a lot of especially what's on the radio right now, I think is marketed just to the lowest common denominator.
Right.
You know, so if we can get
Like
a hold of them.
everyone loves getting drunk, everyone loves parties, and
Yeah.
everyone loves this and that or whatever.
It's extremely shallow.
Yeah.
You know, which I get it, they're trying to make money, but I mean the sad part is the people that are putting this stuff out now, your Russell Simmons and people like that are putting these people out are also the people who put out, you know, Public Enemy and the people like the hip hop that when it first, you know, really started that was actually changing things and actually had something to say and had a message. And the sad part is, you know, realizing the real true sellout in that whole thing, that it's just now it's lost that, and it's so shallow, and it's so just to make a couple quick bucks. And I get it, and a lot of those songs, I'm not saying the songs are bad, a lot of the songs are really good and catchy, but
yeah, they're super catchy, but then like you listen
Yeah.
to the lyrics and you're like, what? Wait a minute. Oh.
yeah, like, am I getting dumber? I feel like I'm getting dumber by listening to this. I'm pretty sure like I'm
Yeah.
losing my IQ points.
Well, there's like the stripper stuff, and there's like, I mean, that's like a big part of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
even me, I'll be like totally dancing along. Like, I'm like, this has got a good beat.
That's what people.
But then
I
I'm like,
the
I don't really
beat.
want my
I
daughter
like
to
the
hear this
beat.
song.
Yeah, exactly.
This song is not for my kids, but then of course the kids all hear it. you
Well,
know?
yeah, everyone listens. Yeah, and then I mean, there's a lot of like in my eyes like subliminal things, and I'm not hating on it. I'm not saying like
Yeah.
I don't find myself listening to it from time to time, but
Yeah.
it's just there's a difference between putting something out just to be a flash in the pan and make a hit, and
Yeah.
there's those songs that come out and they hit you in the heartstrings, and
Yeah.
you will listen to that song for the rest of your life. Every iPhone I switch to, if I have a different iTunes and I have to buy that song again, I'll buy it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll buy that record 5 times if I lose it. Then I'll go get another one. There's not a lot of stuff that's out there that's like that. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad, but you have to look for it and find it. I guess that's kind of the cool thing now is you have to look for something that's like that.
Yeah.
But if you look, you can find it. It's still out there, just not in your face. You
Well-
gotta kind of move all stuff out of the way.
I mean, I think that the fact that you're putting that stuff out is going to make a big difference. And honestly, I hope the whole tide of like the culture in regards to that is going to be like going in that direction.
I think it's still there sometimes. It's just the culture right now. I mean, there is a massive drug culture right now.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Like EDC and
Yeah.
you know that whole scene, that whole EDM scene and stuff like that. Again, I'm not hating on it. It's just the way where the culture is right now, and it's where things are. So I mean, I guess in some ways,
you're an advocate against that. I mean, from what I got.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not really against any kind of life choice people make. I mean, I have my own life choices that I do or don't do based on what works for me.
That's what I mean. Not that not that you're going to be like, oh, okay, that person does this, so now I hate them. I'm not saying that. But
No,
just like,
I mean, for me, I don't indulge.
Right.
Personally.
Right.
I have a lot of friends that do and stuff like that, and that's cool. And I mean, I've attended the events and still, not indulged in those things, but it's just something that, I haven't really. I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been there, and so
you don't need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's like, and it's just not for me.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that I think there should be more of, because definitely the younger generation is going to look at all of this and be like, whoa, I should try this, I should try that, and I should get into this. And then what ends up happening later is people, as they get a little bit more wiser, realize that that's really not the right lifestyle, for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, I went through that because when I was younger, it was like I didn't even want to listen to albums if the artist wasn't cussing. Like if I didn't have a parental advisory, I was like, I don't want to listen to this. This is stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It had to have that kind of edge because that was what was cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I was like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. I was really looking into things for all the wrong reasons and thinking that certain things were cool that really weren't. Just, searching for somewhere that I fit in whatever it was that everyone else was doing, whatever everybody else liked. You know what I mean? I had things that I really liked, but I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I kept that to myself. Well,
that's what I think a lot of young people do,
Yeah.
A lot of people go through that.
Well, there's that fear in not being accepted by your peers because they're into certain things that you're not into, or you're into things that people don't like, or whatever that may be. It's not cool at the time, but 10 years later it'll be cool. It's just weird how that happens.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so what's coming up next?
What's next? The next big thing we have is Life is Beautiful Festival in Las Vegas. I don't know if you heard of it.
I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the big music festival, 3-day long music festival in Las Vegas. It's Kanye West, Foo Fighters, Outkast, Lionel Richie.
Oh
Dancing on
wow,
the
that's
Ceiling.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna be part of that, right?
Yeah, I'm on the lineup this year.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Especially, being from my town, being from Las Vegas makes it even more of a big deal.
Yeah.
To be on a platform like that and to be able to make a name for yourself in a city where it's not necessarily easy to make a name for yourself no matter who you are or what you do. It's tough. So it's a huge opportunity. I'm stoked to do it.
That's congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna give you a huge exposure, like to everybody that's gonna be there. So it's a big
Hope
deal.
so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Are you gonna be there on the first day, second, or third?
They haven't released the lineup yet. I don't even know. They keep everything so secret. They're like, they don't tell anybody anything.
Really?
Yeah, they're really good at keeping the mystery intact.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully I'll be able to come out there and watch you guys.
You should, if you can, come on out.
Yeah, I have friends out there, so.
Do you? It'll be a party.
Cool. So how did you get into music in the beginning?
I was always a huge fan of music. Music always played like one of the biggest parts of my life. And I didn't really realize it as it doing that when I was growing up. I just knew that I always really enjoyed music, listening, and it always was a big deal to me to have, like bands that I liked, and I was the kid in band t-shirts and stuff like that. And I always wanted to make music and didn't know how and didn't really know what to do or which way to go about it. And I wasn't the type of guy that would, ever be in a band because I'm not like a team sports kind of guy. I'm more like, I skateboarded because it's like individual expression and I'm my own coach and I can go at my own pace and do whatever I want to do. And I grew up listening to a lot of different music, but the one that I always resonated with most was hip hop music, and always related with most, and it really did something for me, And I was always just a fan of like poetry and writers and authors and stuff like that. So I just started writing, and didn't really know how to write and what the hell I was doing, but just started writing, and
The rapper poet.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was just one of those things where I needed to express myself in some way. I think everybody needs a way to express themselves or you lose your mind. You have to have some sort of expression, no matter what it is, whatever you find, whether it's sports or working out or painting or, coaching your kid's soccer team, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I have to have some sort of expression in my life. And that was the way I was able to do it. It was the only thing that ever made sense. And when I started writing, it's the only thing that came natural. Because I had friends that were good at sports and all these, those kids growing up that are good at everything. And you're like, why does this just not make sense?
Yeah.
I see the way you're doing it, but I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And for the first time when I was writing, it just made sense.
So when did you actually go from writing poetry to music and lyrics and start like actually putting it, in that format?
I had a big life change in 2007, and I had a big life change in 2007, and I started really, being introspective and looking back in on myself and changing a lot of things in my life.
What was it that happened?
I sobered up in 2007. I went to rehab in 2007, and
wow, good for you, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So when I was in there, it was a lot of introspective, a lot of thinking about life and what do I want to do. No more of the shallow, living and where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What kind of impact do I want to leave in at least in my community? And so when I got out of there, I was still writing, and someone had just thrown me a couple of beats, just like instrumentals, and I started writing to them, and I didn't want to show anyone, but I had a really close friend, and I showed him, and he was like, it's actually pretty good. And I was like, really? So, let's record some stuff. So I went and bought some stuff. I didn't know what the hell I was buying, but I just bought some stuff and bought a microphone and threw it on, a really crappy program and recorded some vocals and started showing it to more people, and more people were into it. And I'm convinced I just was told that I was good until I actually
started to believe in yourself.
Started to actually believe in myself.
Yeah.
And
that's so cool.
It was just a thing that started really growing from there, and a series of really fortunate events happened for me to, lead me up to the point where I met my producer now. and was able to really start making the music I wanted to make this whole time.
Yeah, who's your producer now?
There's a guy by the name Courtney Ballard.
Cool.
He's he's awesome. He took me on when no one else knew who I was or really cared or anything like that, and really just took a chance. And we did a few songs together, and it just worked, and we vibed together well. And he's one of those guys that will push me, and I'll want to say no, and I'll want to get mad, but I know that it's good for me because no one else pushes me like that. And
that's important.
Yeah, pushing my musical boundaries and my skill levels to really make something that's really different and really awesome.
All right, we have to take a quick break.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
I don't remember how exactly. I think he found me online or something like that. I know he used to be from Vegas, where I'm from. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
He was in a band out there called Air Raid Anthem, and he was in a band out there, and he found me, and he was working on stuff, and I think I was the first hip hop project he took on. To we did a couple songs together, and it really worked and vibed together well, and it sounded great, and I wanted fortunate enough to continue doing more music with him, and we put out an EP. It was called Zizek's Road.
Cool.
If you've been back and forth to LA to Vegas, I'm sure you know.
That's on the way.
Yeah. And we put that out last year and got a great response from it, and decided to continue going and make some new stuff. So yeah, it's been great.
That's so awesome. That's amazing. I mean, I really love what you have done so far.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to your next album that's coming out.
I'm too. I mean, we're putting out singles right now and trying to push those as hard as we can, and working towards another project or EP or album, full length, something like that.
Cool.
So it's just really.
You could do like a collaboration of all your singles or something like that. Right?
Yeah, I mean that would eventually probably be the the end result of whatever we do. But it's really about finding the right sound and playing around with different things and getting outside of the comfort zone and doing things different and trying to make something cool without having boundaries and a deadline and certain things you need to do, and just really letting the creative process take hold.
Yeah, like so right now you're totally independent, or do you have like a label that you're working with? Or?
No, we're totally independent. Do DIY everything ourselves.
That's awesome.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
I mean, there's pros and cons, to being with a big label or whatever, and obviously it's like really great for exposure. But then you own everything that you're doing right now, so
exactly. And so I mean, I don't know. There's people who talk a lot about big labels and how they suck and how it's all indie. I have no idea, to be honest. Like I have no idea. I just make music. I just write, and I don't know much about the business side. I know enough to know that I don't want to know anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff to it, and it's that I have a manager for a reason. You know what I mean? Like that's why he handles all this stuff. He knows what all that's about, and I don't have to pretend that I do. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean the DIY. Your
manager's obviously doing a good job, so he's gotten you onto this new festival, and
he does a great job. He's we all mesh together really well, and it's a really, fortunate to have a really. I think it's really important to have a team of people you're surrounded with that are all in it for the same reason you are.
Totally.
And it's hard because you get people around that don't have the same vision as you, and then it gets tough, you know what I mean? Like I was saying, I don't play team sports. I don't play with others very well. So, if we're on the same page, then that's perfect. And then we can really make something cool happen.
I think that's like what makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, you got to be surrounded by good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or just people just agree with what, the message and the whole vibe and stuff. And you can have great people, but if their thing is something else, then it's not gonna jive. So
so go do that. You know what I mean?
It's totally
Which
cool.
is fine.
Go
I'm
do
not.
that.
Yeah, I'm not hating on you for doing your thing. Just go do your thing and let me do mine. And if we work together, let's do it. If not, then I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So Do you have any more music videos that are coming out soon, or?
We're shooting the video for Paint, I believe, next week or the week after that. We're gonna start shooting the video for Paint.
Awesome. Do you have your ideas like for what you're gonna do that?
Yeah,
for
we
that
have the
one?
treatment made up and everything. And
Are you allowed to tell us what it's gonna be?
I mean, it's not like an extravagant. A lot of our videos like have been really extravagant and sometimes have a narrative that doesn't really have to do with the song or things like that. I mean, we have a video where, you know, the main character is a guy in a Jason mask that's just like a total screw up, and it's supposed to be like, you know, make no sense at all. Or we have, you know, just a lot of really extravagant ideas that we have, and this time we decided to kind of take it down a few notches and kind of just give the song what it deserves and a real just a real clean perspective and look at the song and what it means. And the song is about painting a picture of yourself for the world to see. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever been like that, or, you know, you're going through really hard times, but when you go out and you go around your friends, you change that look and you try and look like everything's okay.
Right.
Or things are fine, or you put on that fake smile and everything's different. So the song is about painting that picture for the rest of the world to see when you're not really okay. And so the video is really going to focus on that whole concept of, you know, putting up walls and putting up a disguise and things like that. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something that a lot of people do. So
Let's get super deep right now.
I think
I'm very
they're
heavy
gonna-
in this.
yeah.
You know, yeah. Let's get it.
Well,
So-
I mean, I love the fact that all of your work is about something that's actually kind of deep and important.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I think if you have the ability to influence any kind of person, then it's almost your duty to kind of do it and be safe with that power that you have. I mean, not that it's like some amazing power, but I mean,
Yeah.
musicians and artists and writers and stuff like that do have an influence on their listeners.
Totally.
And so if you have that kind of power, do something good with it. You know, there's so many people out there that will take that and try and, you know, do whatever they can in a negative way, or not even in a negative way, but more in a self-serving way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's about them and it's about what they can get out of it. And instead of doing that, it's more like I said, like what kind of impact, what kind
Yeah.
of mark can we leave on you guys
Yeah.
that you can go share with someone else?
Exactly.
You know?
That's so huge. So where can we find you, Echo?
You can find me at facebook.com/EKOMusic. That's EKOH. You can find me Instagram at Echo Hip Hop, Twitter at Echo Hip Hop, iTunes, Pandora, Google Play. Anywhere you want to find music, you can find me.
All right, great.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Echo on
The Red Booth.